Hello everyone, and welcome to our backyard. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some flowers that are doing really well in our heat, or some that are new to me or that have surprised me a little bit. And right now, in the middle of June, we are going through what is called an excessive heat warning along the southeast coast of Texas. And over the next few days, we've hit 100, but we are supposed to have 100 plus, 100, 101 temperatures over the next 6 days or so, and high humidity, so 70, 80, 90% humidity, and we have what's called an excessive heat warning. And so I do like to tape all my videos early in the morning, like I'm doing now, because the light is so much better to capture on video. And I have to say, this is one of the reasons I have planted this butterfly and hummingbird garden. We are in the subtropics, and our plants are just thriving, even though it is hot, hot, hot. So I'm going to take you through some of these plants today. Nothing is doing poorly, which absolutely makes me feel so good. And the first one I want to talk about is my flame acanthus shrub. This thing is blooming gorgeously. The hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies just love this. It's got a beautiful shaped flower, this tubular flower. And it is a native to Texas, so one would expect it to do well in our weather. And I love how it's blooming. The hummingbird just likes to come and just methodically go through flower to flower. I don't know if I can get down in there. This shrub is really hardy. It is drought tolerant, but it also will tolerate our clay soil and the rains that we get here in Houston. And I'm just so pleased with this plant. I have 6 plants along here. And the next one I'm going to show you is kind of a surprise for me. This plant is called Tithonia, or Mexican sunflower. And it has such a neon orange color to it. It's really pretty. And the butterflies love this flower. And the reason they do is they can land on this. They call this a landing pad. And they can stay on it, and you'll notice there's just lots of little flowers in the center. And they methodically go through this and love this flower. There's a good one that just opened fairly recently. You can purchase Tithonia that are dwarfs that only get to be 2 feet tall, 18 inches to 2 feet tall. And I planted this from seed. Actually, I started it from seed indoors in February. And do you think I got enough seeds? I bought these from Johnny's Seeds. And this is Tithonia rotundifolia. And quite honestly, I did not have a good time. I did not have much success with the seed starting. They started in spite of me. But the fence is 6.5 feet, and this is above our fence. And you can see that they're getting extremely tall. I halfway considered just chopping them back because they are here amongst my flame acanthus. But once I saw the butterflies and how they were so attracted to these flowers, I haven't done it yet. I also have the host plant back here of my passion vine. And so they climb up and they're at the top of this trellis. So I might have to just keep this Tithonia below that because I certainly don't want it to inhibit or compete in any way with the passion flower. But this is a real pretty and striking flower. And it has surprised me with its growth. And this is called Tithonia, or Mexican sunflower. The next flower I'm so happy to see is the John Fanick Phlox. This is also a Texas native. It's actually a Texas superstar. It's known as a panicle phlox, which is a perennial. And it has this beautiful bloom, or panicle, a series of blooms on the top. And you'll notice this plant, I love all the stalks. I love the dark green foliage. I love all the different flowers that are coming out. I love how much this is going to bloom. I'm going to show the nursery tag here. This is the John Fanick Phlox. It's actually discovered in San Antonio. And the thing that's so interesting about this is it is really cold hardy down to zone 4. I love this flower. And it does so well in the heat. The next one is coneflower. And this coneflower is called Cheyenne Spirit. Coneflowers are also native. And the reason this is on my list is I got it as a nursery plant. You know, the $1.99 bedding plants. And it was, really small, and it's grown beautifully, and I got 2 of them. And I bought both Cheyenne Spirit for this spot, my 4x4 bed, but I got one Cheyenne Spirit and one Powwow Wild Berry. And I had bought Wild Berry for my north bed, which was fine, but this one had the Cheyenne Spirit tag in it. So has that ever happened to you where you've purchased something and someone has gone and switched the tag, or maybe the nursery accidentally put the wrong tag in? I highly doubt it. But I was very surprised to see the color that I didn't plant here. But I love coneflower, and so do the butterflies. Another plant that has surprised me is my pink tropical hibiscus. And the reason it surprised me is because it made it through our terrible freeze that we had in December. And I mentioned this before, but I did lose my other hibiscus along here. I mean, they had little bits of growth from the roots, but you know, I decided I didn't want to try to baby them and bring them back. But I did on this one. And this has just rewarded me. So what we did in the freeze is we had purchased what's called a blanket. It's a plant blanket from Home Depot. And we covered this stand of pots all together. So we got the great big blanket and we put, golly, 3 or 4. And then we wrapped them with twine so the wind couldn't, you know, as best we could, right? So the wind wouldn't take them off. And boy, I tell you, this thing is rewarding me. These are going to open today, but it's too early yet in the morning for them to open. They'll start opening soon. But I have to say, it makes me wonder if I gave up on the others too quickly. So it is hot, and you would expect our tropical hibiscus to be doing well, and they are. They have lots of blooms. They flower wonderfully, and they thrive in this heat and humidity. As most of you know that have been watching my videos, I've mentioned that Lantana is a wonderful plant to have in the summer garden. It loves the heat. It loves the full sun. And this particular Lantana is new to me. I have them in hanging baskets, and so I did not know how they were going to perform. And this happens to be Royale Pina Colada, and I paired it with a yellow marigold just because I like the colors, and I was hoping that it would do well, mound, which it is a mounding Lantana, and just flower wonderfully. And that's what it is doing in my little hanging pot here. I really am happy so far with how much this is blooming, and I haven't had it very long. Another thing I wanted to share with you is I had such a pleasant surprise this week. Is my favorite nursery called, and the 2 plants I've been on their list for. The first one is my Forsythia sage. I lost one in the freeze, and that is going to be planted in my shade bed. And I was so tickled because they came in, and there was only one grower that they can get it from, and they were finally able to get it. And so when I got the text message, I went right away to go grab it. And the other one was the white-veined Dutchman's pipevine, and I could only get one. So they had a lot of people on the list, and they grow them, and they didn't have enough for people to take 2. As you know, this is the host plant to my pipevine swallowtail, and these 2 I've had in the ground since last year, and they've been eaten to the ground twice now already, and they just come back beautifully. And so they're more of a ground cover, and I want more plants in here because, they eat them, and I don't have enough. So I was just so pleased that I was able to get this, and I'm still on their list for any more if they're able to get any more growing. They said they're very slow growing in the nursery, and so that's what makes them a little bit difficult to get. But if you're wanting something, I highly encourage you to talk to your nursery and tell them what you are interested in. I have one Greg's Mist flower, which is a native also, and the butterflies and bees really like this plant. And since I only had one, I wish I had gotten another. And they had them in, and so I was able to get another Greg's Mistflower. It was like Christmas for me this week. And then there is I don't know if this is a cross between a couple of porterweeds. If I can zoom, but this is a color that is unique. I have not seen this color of porterweed before. And so, you know me, I am a huge fan of porterweed because porterweed sustains lots of life in the garden. And I have them right now staged underneath my beautiful bald cypress tree, which provides shade before I get them planted in the garden. So this is the Forsythia sage, or Salvia madrensis, that is in my shade garden. And it is a very unusual salvia in the fact that it does perform better if there's some shade, especially in these hotter regions. And I've mentioned, I'm so surprised that it is starting to flower. But what it will do is this panicle, or this stalk, bloom stalk, gets upward of 2 feet. And the blooms, the yellow blooms, are just gorgeous. And they typically don't bloom until fall. And so we've got, I don't know what the weather did, but it's got some of our plants timing just a little bit different. And the Forsythia sage is one. And so I had the Forsythia sage here not make it. And right now I just have a placeholder for them. And this happens to be one of my coleus in the shade garden. And so I am going to plant the new Forsythia sage right here. So maybe those will bloom in the fall. I hope these aren't going to be exhausted blooming. But they're thriving and doing well, so I'm very happy to be able to replace the ones that I lost. Well, thanks for joining me today, everyone. As I went through my garden and have looked this morning, I just wanted to share with you some of the things that, I don't want to say surprised me, I guess pleasantly did. We can see a pipevine swallowtail butterfly here going through the pink pentas. But thank you for joining me. If you're in this heat, stay safe, stay cool. But wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy gardening.